Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a live recording of a 50-minute full body flow. So find some space to move and let's get started. So let's start in a nice comfy seat. Again, I'm not going to use any props, but feel free to have what you'd like close by. You can let your eyes close whenever you're ready. And take a slow, deep breath in. Press the ground away and lengthen through your spine. And a deep breath out. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Take another slow, deep inhale. And let it go. And one more time, a nice deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Awesome, you guys. We're just going to move our hands to the ground beside us. So lightly resting the fingertips. Starting with the right arm, take an inhale and reach it out to the side and up above you, and maybe you'll lean over. The left hand can move, but you can push into it, maybe from the palm, maybe from just the fingertips. Push into the ground and then reach up for whatever's above you as well. Maybe even take a peek straight up above you. Take a nice big breath in and out. And then use an inhale to find your way back, sitting tall, centered. Hands, fingertips to the ground beside you, maybe even a shoulder roll. And then as you inhale, your left arm or hand can start to reach out, reach up, and maybe over to. Move the right hand, push into it, and then reach and stretch. And maybe try to take a peek up past your arm. A nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then let's use an inhale to find our way back through center. Maybe sneak a shoulder roll in, but you can move your hands to the knees if you'd like. Just sit tall again. And then start to turn your chest over towards the right side for a twist. Maybe move your hands, one in front of you, one behind you, pushing into the ground, lengthening through the spine. And then letting an inhale, turn your chest forwards. And as you exhale, you can twist to the other side. Press the ground away though. Maybe a slow, deep breath in and out. And then use another inhale, come back so that you're facing forwards. So we're going to twist one more time over towards the right side. You can stay seated nice and tall, your hands on the ground maybe. The left hand could find the right knee, and then the right arm could start to reach out, kind of behind you a little bit. And maybe you start to tip forwards towards the left knee with the shoulder, and your arm keeps reaching up and up and up and maybe over. And you can just look to wherever your fingertips happen to be pointing. Maybe a nice side stretch, twist. And then using an inhale to find your way back. Sit tall. Maybe you can end up in the twist again and just move your hands to the ground, one in front, one behind. Press into it, sit a little taller. And then use an inhale to slowly turn. Face forwards. Maybe sneak a shoulder roll in. And then start to turn your chest towards the left. Sit nice and tall. You can keep your hands on the ground. You can stay sitting tall. But maybe the right hand will find the left knee and you can stay here too. Or you could start to lean, tipping the shoulder towards the right knee and then the left arm. It might want to reach up and it might want to reach over and then gazing towards the fingertips. And just reaching in whatever direction your arm happens to be going, if you're reaching. And then using an inhale to find your way all the way back up. Move your hands to the ground though. Stay in your twist. Nice long spine. And then use an inhale to come back facing forwards, hands to the knees if you'd like, and maybe another shoulder roll, and just one more perhaps. We're going to make our way into tabletop from here. So you can come over and onto your hands and knees. Maybe give your hips a little bit of a sway. Maybe spread the fingers wide. Feel your hands, your palms press into the ground. How's your back feeling so far? Take a nice, slow, deep breath in and out. And then let's tuck our toes and slow down that sway of the hips. Another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, lift your knees all the way up into your downward facing dog. Press into the hands, maybe pedal the feet a few times. A slow, deep breath in and out. Can you let your head be a little bit heavier? Scan your body. Notice where you're feeling some extra love today or some extra openness. Slow, deep breath in and out. And then one more inhale and looking forwards towards your hands. As you exhale, walk up to the top of your mat. Take as many steps as you'd like. Once you reach the top, just inhale for a half lift to lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, fold forwards, pausing here in your forward fold. Bend the knees or widen the feet. Hold the elbows if you want, and maybe even sway. So allow the upper body to be as heavy as it possibly can be. Your head, your arms, your chest. Feel the leg. Feel your feet pressing into the ground. And feel your breath here. Your belly might be expanding, kind of pressing into the legs a little bit. Maybe you're not that close, but feel the expansion with each inhale you take. And draw your belly button in a little bit more each time you exhale. Let go of your day so far. Stay for just another breath. If you're holding your elbows, you might release your hands towards the ground. Bending the knees more. Let's inhale and roll up to standing, one vertebrae at a time, maybe, or coming up, however works for you. But once you do reach the top and you're standing tall, roll your shoulders back, turn your palms forward, spread your fingers wide, maybe even lift your toes for a moment. Stand tall, pressing into your feet. Take a nice big inhale and reach up. As you exhale, fold forwards. Inhale as you lift your chest halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, reach up. Exhale, lower your arms, spread your fingers wide the whole time. Shoulder roll if you want one, and inhale to reach up. Exhale to fold. Inhale as you lift the chest halfway, and exhale, folding. Inhale, come all the way up. Spread those fingers wide, stand tall, and exhale, lower your arms to your sides, and maybe take another shoulder roll. And inhale to reach back up, and exhale as you fold forwards. Inhale, lift the chest halfway up. And exhale, folds. Inhale all the way up, reach up, spread the fingers wide, maybe look up. Exhale, lower your arms to your sides. Another shoulder roll if you want it. A big inhale to reach up again, and exhale to folds. Inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your hands this time on the ground and step back all the way into your downward facing dog. Press into the hands, sending the hips nice and high. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, we're going to lower our knees to the ground. Now you can keep your toes tucked under. Knees, feet about hip width apart. Spread the fingers wide. Now we're going to try and hover our knees just ever so slightly if you would like to. Press the ground away and take the smallest hover of the knees that you can. They might even lightly still be touching the ground, but your quads are turning on. Your shoulders, your belly button drop back towards your spine. Take an inhale. And exhale, relax. Release your knees down completely. You might flip to the top of the feet, maybe give the toes a little smack against the ground too. And then take your little hover of the knees if you want. So close to the ground. Maybe you're lightly touching the ground still with the knees. Breathe. Get warmer. Another inhale though. And an exhale to relax completely. Scoot your big toes together and send your knees out wide. Send the hips back towards your heels for child's pose. You can keep the chest lifted though, pushing into the hands and just see how close you can get your hips back towards your heels. You can melt it down completely if you'd like. Just another breath or two here before we float our way forwards again and back into our tabletop. So maybe you're still pushing into your hands, but let's use an inhale to lift. Float your way back to your tabletop. Scooch the knees in, scooch the feet out a little, tuck your toes under, take a deep breath in, and exhale, lift up into your downward facing dog. Press into the hands, send the hips high, and then let a big inhale, bring your gaze forward. And exhale, walking on up to the top of your mat. Once you get there, you can inhale for a half lift. And as you exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, come all the way up, reach up, exhale, lower your arms to your side, shoulder roll if you want one, but spread your fingers wider. Inhale to reach up and exhale to fold down. Inhale, let's take a half lift, and exhale to fold. So plant your hands and take just your left foot back. So left foot back into a lunge. We're going to lower our knee down. So just take a second to sink into the hips a little. Find the balance. You can roll your mat over if you want some extra cushion under your knee. But we are going to try and tuck our toes. And then we're going to try to hover the knee just ever so slightly. So instead of lifting it high, 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 see if you can still lightly feel the ground beneath your knee. And you might have to bend that leg a little more. We'll push into the feet, both of them. And then relax completely. Flip to the top of that foot. Relax a little bit more through that left hip, that left leg. From the top of the foot, we can try to hover the knee again, just ever so slightly. Just trying to take the weight out of the knee, but really it's still lightly touching the ground if possible. And then you're just gonna relax your leg and start to send the hips back, lengthen the front leg, forget about your left leg and hip for a moment, find the right hamstring, maybe pointing the toes up, let the chest get a little heavier if you'd like, and then use an inhale to bend back into your front knee. Now we're just going to tuck our toes. Maybe you'll lift your knee nice and high, but use an inhale to look forwards and exhale, step or walk your back foot all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale into a half lift and then exhale to fold and plant your hands. We'll take the right foot back, setting up our lunge. Now, if you don't like the lift of the knee, you don't have to do it. One of those micro movements that doesn't look like much, but feels like a lot. So take your time, set up your lunge. Ideally, hands on something, the ground, on some blocks, so you're feeling balanced, supported. You can start to tuck the toes if you're going to be tucking the toes, and then you can take that little hover of the knee. See how close you can keep it to the ground. Can you lightly feel your mat, the ground beneath that knee? A lot of work for that back leg. And then relax. Relax. Rest on the top of the foot. Sink into the hips a little bit more. And then maybe one more hover of that knee. Micro hover. You still feel the ground beneath it. Squeeze. And then relaxing completely again. And you can start to send the hips back. You might point your toes up for your half split. Take a breath. And another. And then using an inhale to bend back into the front knee. You can lift your back knee up as high as you want to this time, if at all, but use an inhale to look forwards and exhale your back foot to the top of your mat. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, come all the way up. Spread those fingers wide as you reach up. Exhale, lower your arms all the way to your sides, shoulder roll if you want one, and then inhale to reach up again. Exhale as you fold forwards. Inhale, take your half lift. Exhale, folding, plant both hands, take both feet back and into your downward facing dog. Push the ground away. A nice big inhale here. And as you exhale, we're going to bring our knees down to our tabletop. You could flip to the top of the feet, but we're going to scooch our knees over to the left side and then drop the right hip down. Maybe scooch the legs a little more. They might be stacking on top of one another. And then start to turn the chest forwards. Push into your hands to lift your chest more. And you level your shoulders. You might be on your fingertips. You might be on your palms, but just try to level the shoulders. A little bit of a twist. Just another breath here. And we are going to be lifting our hips back up, coming onto the knees as gracefully as we're able. And you're just going to kind of scooch the hands back to the middle, the knees back to the middle, and then the knees can actually just keep going over to the right side. Let the hip come down, stack those legs on top of one another, and then try to level the shoulders. Chest forwards, a little press into the hands. But your shoulders fall away from your ears. Awesome work, you guys. Take just another breath. And then we are going to be lifting our hips. Come back into your tabletop. Maybe give your hips a little bit of a sway if you'd like. Big toes can find one another though as the knees go wide and the hips go back to the heels for your child's pose. Melt it down if you'd like to relax or keep your chest lifted a little bit as you send the hips back towards the heels. Maybe walk the hands a little further away. See how low you can lower the chest by keeping that connection maybe of the hips and the heels. And a little press into the hands. Maybe a little more effort for the arms. Just another breath or two. And then using an inhale to lift back up into your tabletop. Bring the knees in, bring the feet out. A little sway of the hips if you'd like, but you can tuck your toes. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, lift up and into your downward facing dog. Nice deep breath in here and a deep breath out. Use an inhale to look forwards and exhale, walking on up to the top of your mat. Once you get there, inhale into a half lift as you exhale, folding forwards. Inhale all the way up, reach up. And exhale, lowering your arms down. Spread the fingers wide at a shoulder roll if you want one. And an inhale to reach up again. As you exhale, we'll fold. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale, fold again. Plant your hands, and our left foot is going to come back. So let's keep the knee up, but drop the heel down, and then start to lift. Warrior one. So facing forwards with the chest, the belly button. Adjust your feet so you're balanced. A little bend into the front knee, but pressing into both of the feet. Now our arms, we're going to reach them forwards. Our palms down, fingers spread nice and wide. So can you push into both feet, the back foot, the front foot, and then our arms are parallel with the ground. Now from here, you can stay lifted, or we can tip forwards a little bit, and then our hands are gonna fall towards the hips or sweep down towards the hips. Our feet are pretty much in the same place, but our palms might start to face behind us, spreading the fingers wide. A little tip forwards, and maybe the hands kind of by the hips. Press into both of the feet though. Squeeze the belly button in at touch. Look to your nice big toe or just in front of it. And then as you inhale, lift your chest. Keep pressing into the feet. And maybe the arms will float forwards again. Straight in front of you, spreading the fingers wide. Press into the feet more. I want you to feel your legs. All areas of your legs. Try to pull the ground away from, or the feet away from one another. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, now we're going to fold all the way down. You can relax your hands. Fold all the way down until your hands touch if possible. Lift the back heel up so you're in your lunge. Take an inhale to look forwards a bit and exhale your back foot to the top of your mat. Take an inhale for a half lift. And as you exhale, fold, plant your hands and take your right foot back. Drop the heel as you stand, as you lift, adjust your feet if needed. So you can be here for a bit of time. You're balanced. Your feet are down, your heels are down. A little bend through that front knee, facing forwards though. Once you're happy with your feet, you're pressing into them, waking up the legs. Let the arms effortlessly float up. Spread the fingers, palms facing down. Then try to slide the feet away from each other the whole time that we're here. All the while softening through the forehead, the shoulders. So stay here if you'd like. Or as you start to tip forwards a little bit, let your feet stay where they are. Let the arms sweep back a little. And maybe the palms are kind of facing behind you, still spreading the fingers wide. A little lean forwards, pull those feet apart. Try to stretch your mat longer. Breathe. And then use an inhale to lift. Let your feet stay where they are, pressing into the ground. Sweep the arms forwards. I want you to feel your legs here. The shoulders soften away from the ears a touch. Push a little bit more into your back foot. Let's take another inhale. And then as you exhale, relax a little as you fold to bring the hands all the way to the ground and lift the back heel up. Take an inhale to look forwards and exhale, bring your back foot to the top. As you inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach up. And exhale, let your arms fall down to your side. Shoulder roll if you want one. Now we're going to fold forwards again. But if you do want to widen the feet, maybe wider than your mat. Any amount will do, but hands to your hips. Press into the ground. Check that your toes are pointing forwards, maybe even in a little. And then we're going to fold. So you can bend your knees. You can start to tip down. You can let your arms dangle or hold your elbows. Maybe you'll sway a little. Keep the knees bent. I want you to allow your upper body to be as heavy as it can, though, so we create some space in the low back. Enjoy a few moments here. Still feeling the feet against the ground. Letting the chest, the arms, the head be as heavy as they can be. And we'll stay for another breath or two. And then up to you. If you want to come back to standing, or if you feel like you're close enough to the ground to maybe plant the hands and step the feet back into downward facing dog. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. You might stay in your forward fold a little bit longer, or you might be moving. Meeting in downward facing dog. Now, if you're coming from standing, you might take a big inhale to reach your arms up and let the exhale fold you forward. Inhale into a half lift and exhale, fold, punch your hands, step your feet back into your downward dog. Once you're there, you might pedal the feet a couple times. Push into the hands, let your chest, your head get a bit heavier, and then take just one more inhale. As you exhale, let's all bring our knees down. Knees wide, big toes together, and sending the hips back towards the heels. Now relaxing completely in your child's pose if you haven't done so already today. So no need to push into the hands or keep the arms straight or the heels even nice and close to the hips. Just relax. Close your eyes. Scan your body. You might be staying a little longer. Might be ready to move again. And using an inhale at some point to lift up and into your tabletop. Maybe giving the hips a little sway, shake it out a little bit. We're going to be sliding our right knee forwards. You can sit on the heel, or you can find pigeon. Bring the foot in front of the hip. Trying to level the hips, trying to level the shoulders. And so maybe a little tip forwards and maybe widen the hands a little bit too. Lean forwards a little bit. Try to level the hips. A little press into the hands. Soft shoulder. Now just notice your back knee. Happens if you just lift it by pressing into the foot a little. Just take the weight out of the back knee and then relax it down, and maybe it feels a little lighter, a little softer. Now, depending on where your hands are, if you're tipping forwards a little bit, just gonna start to walk everything back in so that maybe we can push ourselves back and into tabletop, maybe with a tuck of the toes, the back toes, and a lift of the knee again. Push into the hands and bring your right leg back and into your tabletop, however works best for you. You might shake it out a little bit, sway the hips, and then starting to slide the left knee forwards. And you can stay seated or trying to sit on that back heel. Maybe widen the hands, maybe take a little tip forwards. And level the hips. You're going further than that and into pigeon. Slide your foot in front of that right hip. Little tip forwards, maybe wider hands, maybe a little press into the hands. Kind of trying to send the hips towards the ground a little. Checking in with that back knee. Be able to just press into the foot a little micro lift of it. And relax it back down. How does this side feel compared to the other side? Are you feeling level or like you're tipping over a little bit to one side? Just notice. Take another breath. And then we're going to make our way back to our tabletop. Bring the hands in, maybe tuck those back toes and lift the knee and press the ground away to free that left leg up a little bit. Find your tabletop and maybe a sway of the hips too. We are going to sit down though, so if you want to cross your ankles and sit back, sit down, bring your legs in front of you, maybe giving the knees a hug, a squeeze. You're going to stay seated, but widen the feet, widen the knees. Knees can stay bent. And try and lean forwards, maybe with a press of the hands into the ground behind us. Maybe the elbows can come between the knees as we're leaning forwards. Our hands might be kind of on our arms or shoulders. Now, if you want to find that lovely chicken wing shoulder opener that we do sometimes, you can bring your hand to your side. Feel free to do one arm at a time, but if your hands are on your sides, let your palms face out. Spread your fingers wide to hold your hands kind of in place. And then you might be tucking the elbows between the knees. You might be on top of the legs or outside the legs, but maybe leaning forwards enough to tuck those elbows. Let the head be a little bit heavier. As you breathe, if your hands are on your sides, your belly a little bit, you can feel that belly move. Press into the hand. If you do happen to be doing one arm right now, you can switch to the other side. You and your breath. And taking your time to move here, especially if you Have your elbows tucked, especially if you have your hands on your side. Sitting tall again. Free your arms. Any comfy seat will be great. However, if you always sit cross-legged the same way, cross your legs the other way. Let your hands find your knees maybe. Close your eye. Your shoulders fall away from your ears as you lengthen through the spine. And just notice any sensations flowing throughout your body. You might let your chin tip forwards towards the collarbone. And roll your head from shoulder to shoulder. Maybe a few times. Next time your chin comes down, you could pause there. And then lift it up. Start to move your legs, maybe bringing them together to give the knees a little hug or a squeeze. And then we will be laying down on our backs. So you can find your way down. When you're ready, you might hug your knees in towards your chest. And take a sway of the knees side to side if you'd like. You might lift your feet higher into the air. Maybe holding on to the legs a little bit or resting your arms somewhere else. A gentle press of the low back into the ground. And if it feels good to sway the legs, your feet could be on the ground, your knees close to the chest, or maybe your feet are a little higher, legs a little straighter. And if you can keep your low back connected to the ground, you could sway side to side. Maybe with a little help or guidance from your arms, your hands, or maybe with just that low belly, that low back pressing into the ground. And if you are starting to feel some heat, perfect. We're going to slow down the sway. If you did send your feet up higher, they're in the air at any way, maybe give your toes a little wiggle, the ankles, maybe a couple circles. But then you can let the feet come down all the way to the ground. Plant the feet. Rest your arms, again, maybe at the sides or anywhere that's comfy. And we're just going to lift our hips one time to lengthen the hip flexors a little bit, to squeeze the glutes. And then slowly bringing your hips back down. Little press of the low back into the ground again. And then you can decide, do you want to bring your feet wide, let your knees fall together? Do you want to make a diamond shape with your legs? Let your knees fall out wide. Just feeling the ground beneath you. And maybe some love through the hips. So rest your arms wherever is comfy. It's you and your breath. And if you're making a diamond shape with your legs or the opposite, start to bring the knees as well as the feet about hip width apart. Gotta tuck your tailbone under a little bit more to connect your low back to the ground. And then one more time, we're just gonna bring our knees towards our chest. If you would like, give them a hug. Maybe widen the knees. Maybe even reaching for the feet for happy baby. And you can take a little sway side to side here. Just trying to keep the low back connected to the ground. Still feeling some love through the hips, throughout the legs. And if you did reach for your feet, you can let them go, and your knees can also come back together. One last hug of the knees, maybe, and rock or sway side to side. Before you send your legs out nice and long, feet out wide. Resting your arms somewhere comfy again as well. Settle right into Shavasana. Find the stillness. The effortless breath. Relax. Allow your body to stay as still as it is. Take a slow inhale and feel your belly expand. Let that breath go. And do it again. A slow inhale. Feel your belly expand and let it go. Might start to wiggle your toes, fingers. Oh, maybe another deep breath in and reaching your arms above your head. Bend your knees. Roll over to one side. Finding your way up into a comfy seat. Bring some nice length into your spine and maybe your hands together. Awesome practice, you guys. Thanks for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Until next time, namaste.